This summer, I worked closely with Paul Hankowski, a field engineer at the South Pylon who was in charge of segment erection and managed the derrick cranes. Segment erection involves scheduling deliveries of segments, manipulating the segments using various cranes, SPMTs, and the stressing manipulator. I worked alongside Paul to verify stressing sequences, ensure we had the correct PSI values for stressing, and with inventory of our pneumatic fittings. Once positioned, segments are stressed into the existing structure with hydraulic jacks and sealed with epoxy along the face. I got to be a part of 6 segment and 2 delta frame erections. A very practical thing I have learned is that no machine or man is more powerful than Mother Nature. During my internship, we faced many setbacks due to wind, rain, and suffered through the heat of the summer. The ability to move forward despite setbacks of any kind is what makes an engineer great, and Paul is an excellent example of that. Concrete essentially defines the construction world. While the pylons utilize precasted segments, the vertical tower, median slab, footing extensions, and many other areas are poured in place on site. Even when the concrete is finished pouring, our job as engineers are far from over. Concrete testing is vital to the structural integrity of the design and all scopes of work. When concrete is poured, we measure temperature, slump, and eventually its strength with the break test. I got to help with recording these values during our concrete lift pours. My favorite test is the break test. We store test cylinders from pours and find their fracture PSI at different times post-pour. Some activities follow a strict schedule as per the erection manual that mandates certain concrete strength before we can proceed. The break test is a beautiful metaphor showing that strength comes with time. Being a cable stay bridge, I got to learn quite a lot about how the cables go from spools to supports. During my time here, we installed the first set of temporary cables at the north pylon and eventually stressed them with DSI. At the south, we poured the backspan median slab and were able to install the mast climbers that act as a platform to help route the cables. The precast yard is located 25 minutes away from the bridge and is an active batch plant for concrete and where all of the segments and delta frames are casted. The segments start out as a large rebar cage where engineers inspect the size, placement, and amount of rebar there is. They move forward to a custom hydraulic powered formwork. This allows for the angles and dimensions of the segment to be easily manipulated. The precast yard utilizes a technique called match casting. This is where the previously poured segment serves as a template for the following segment and ensures items like elevation, shear keys, and overall size match accordingly. The footing extension is the product of major engineering revisions made to the design of the bridge as a result of a bridge collapsing in Florida. We essentially drilled out holes into the existing footing, added rebar, grouted the holes back, created a rebar cage to fill the extension, and poured it. It is much easier said than done as there are limitations as to how many holes can be drilled at once, how closely the holes can be, and general equipment failures. The footing extension, however, is a testament to the number of engineering revisions the bridge has had and how they have caused major delays to the project. This summer, I met engineers, foremen, superintendents, project managers, but I will leave with friends, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that Flatiron has given me.